Hey everyone, welcome to this new series where I review Pixar movies. And there's no better way to start things off than by talking about the one that started it all, Toy Story. This was Pixar's first ever animated feature, in case you didn't know that, becoming massively successful in its original release and since becoming a gigantic franchise and a prominent icon in pop culture. And every review I've seen of this movie talks about the same thing. It was a game changer for animation and is what spawned the franchise we know and love today. As for me, it's good. I mean, I don't think it's like amazing, but it's still good. I mean, unlike something like Spider-Verse or Puss in Boots that warrant their massive praise because of their great stories on top of spectacular animation, this movie is pretty solid, but in my opinion, not nearly as good as what will come later. The sequels all have more entertaining characters and much more interesting stories. With this one, I mean, its story is good, but just not something groundbreaking. So let's waste no more time and dive into the first Toy Story by discussing why, while the weakest in the bunch, is still an all-time classic. Before I talk about why Toy Story 1 is the weakest one, I should probably start by discussing what makes it a classic, because it is overall. It's far from a bad movie, and it has plenty of things going for it. The biggest compliment about this movie that I can totally agree with is how it changed animation as we knew it. Disney had been dominating animation for a long time with their original 2D hand-drawn films, but Toy Story did something different by implementing computer designs, with its all-new 3D style that added more realism to the movie. This made for some revolutionary visuals at the time, though looking back on them, yeah, everything does kind of look really dated and off-putting now. Still, you can't deny how much of an impact this new style had on the animation industry. It's how we got animated movies like we see them today, whether seen on the big or small screen. It's also how we got studios like DreamWorks, Blue Sky, Sony, and Illumination. Toy Story changed everything. Until Spider-Verse shocked the world and began inspiring others to implement its same style, but yeah, still, great changes. Another big compliment I can agree with is how this movie is the introduction to the world of Toy Story. Pixar takes us on our first trip to the toy chest where we're introduced to the characters, the world, and stories that would later come to play as the franchise continued. Right from the get-go, Pixar really cracked the code on how to tell stories that children will go into for the escapism, while also having deep themes that connect with adults. Of course, the main standout here are Woody and Buzz, easily the best and most iconic duo in Pixar history. You get plenty of fun antics with Buzz not realizing he's a toy, but the center of it all is focused on Woody and the journey he embarks, not just in this movie, but in the rest of the franchise. See, with all his fears and insecurities slowly taking its toll on him, he has to grow and change with them. As fun as the premise is, being told through the eyes of a toy, that specific story template manages to capture real emotion that just sticks with you, about how, as we continue to age, the things around us start to change as well, and so we have to grow and change along with them. And this absolutely applies to the entire Toy Story series. All of these movies, on top of being really fun, have always been about how, as we continue to grow through different phases of life, we have to accept change when it comes around. Of course, on top of having nice themes about friendship and change, you also get tons of funny moments. This is the one Toy Story movie that makes me laugh the most, easily the funniest one in the whole franchise. There's so many funny moments to be found in this movie that no matter how many times you rewatch it, you can't help but quote whatever joke comes along. Whether it be from the arguments between Woody and Buzz, or whenever the side characters interact with each other, or whenever Woody does his meme laugh, or even his most iconic,
"You are a toy!"
It's just too much to count. There's a reason why this movie's humor has resulted in tons of internet memes. It's a riot. I am obsessed with this movie's comedic timing. I could quote this movie for days and it would never get old. Unless my parents tell me to stop, and yeah, obviously I would stop. Okay, now let's talk about why I think this is the weakest in the series. First, Woody acts way too much like a jerk for too much of the movie. I know he's supposed to go through a character arc about letting go of his jealousy toward Buzz, and I know the reason why he's so jerky, since he lets his emotions get the better of him, but for the most part, he's kind of an a-hole. He had a lot of jerkish moments in the sequels, yes, but at least in those, you understood where Woody was coming from, since those movies had more compelling conflicts. Here, his actions don't feel nearly as justified because he acts too unfairly toward his friends and Buzz. And while it's somewhat nice to see Woody eventually apologize, it's kind of too little too late. I also feel like this movie offers the least out of the Toy Story movies. It doesn't do much outside of setting up Woody and Buzz's relationship. The side characters aren't given much to do here compared to the later movies, and it feels like we don't get to explore what lies beyond the neighborhood. We only briefly spend time at one new location outside of Andy's house, and for the rest of it, we're spending time at Sid's dark bedroom, and it's not a particularly fun place to spend time in.
What are you trying to pull? Nothing.
In the sequels, we get to do more things. We get to explore new locations, do more interesting things, and get much more into the conflicts and themes they tackle. But even if some areas feel unfocused or boring, everything still culminates in the entire third act. The action, the intensity, the score, it's all so good. And we get a nice wholesome ending. Buzz and Woody are friends now, Potato Head gets a girlfriend, and Andy has a puppy. Happy ending. So yeah, Toy Story 1 is still a really solid film. It makes good use of our central main duo, and while I think it has the weakest arc for Woody, it's a decent starter for his more compelling journey as the series continues. It's an endlessly rewatchable film that, while not quite as good as its sequels in my opinion, is still a good time if you're in the mood for some nostalgia or simple meme moments.
Buzz, look, an alien! Where? Ah!
So that was the first episode of my series. If you want to see more, I recommend clicking that subscribe button down below, as well as liking and commenting. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the